Hello, everybody. So I just got finished watching the debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Um, I wasn't able to catch it live because at the time I was busy doing something. But when I got finished, then I came back out and then I reviewed and watched the debate on our recorded podcast. And my thoughts on the debate, they both landed shots on each other. Um, I give it a tie. I give the debate a tie. Um, no one to me really had an edge. Um, Hillary made some good points when she talked about Donald Trump's previous record when he first started off in the business world, where the report says he supposedly didn't rent out his apartments or his buildings to black people. Um, that's just common knowledge. And Donald Trump, he defended himself. He said that he took care of that situation. He was not charged being guilty. Um, it didn't seem convincing, but it is what it is. Um, Hillary also landed on Donald about like the previous stuff that he has said this whole time, all the numerous verbal gaffes that have come out of his mouth that pretty much has made him look like the bad guy that people make him out to be. He really had nothing to say on that because he really did say all those things that he said about women, about Hispanics, and fat people. Although fat people should be ridiculed, but in this society, you cannot shame no one for being fat, I guess. But Donald, he got into Hillary too. He blamed her for like some of her decisions when she was Secretary of State, blaming her for ISIS, the creation of ISIS. Basically, ISIS was created under her watch. Now, Hillary Clinton is a lot of things. She's a liar, she's a bitch, and all that. I stand on that. But I wouldn't necessarily blame her for ISIS. I'm going to give her some credit. I'm not. I'm going to be fair a little bit. But the way Donald Trump, like, that was one of his golden moments in the debate. He made it sound so convincing that she was to blame to ISIS being created and developed under her watch. I wouldn't even say that, but Donald made that look convincing, and I think a lot of people believed him. So he got in a good shot with that. I give him that, even though I don't agree with it, but the perception was that he was correct on that, and basically he made it look like Hillary dropped the ball on the Middle East and certain deals, that like things that need to be done around the world, that looked good. He sounded convincing with that. So all in all, I would say it was a tie at the end of the day. I still don't trust Hillary. She's still a bitch. And Donald Trump is still a racist. But I don't think... And Donald Trump still has not made himself look better in that regard. He still appears to be a racist. But like I've said, a lot of these white people in power, I believe to be racist anyway. It's just some of them go about it differently than others. Um, I respect Donald Trump's honesty. I don't have a problem with Hispanic people, by the way. Um, that's I know that he said some horrible stuff about Hispanic people. That makes no sense. He's if he loses the election, and I don't really see how he could win, because Hispanic people, the Latino vote, they make up a significant amount of the votes in this country that count. So I don't know how he's going to be able to win. But if he loses, it's because of all the crazy stuff he said about Latinos. But yeah, a lot of these white people, they just, I think Hillary's racist. Is just she just has more tact. She's not gonna come out and be like, yeah, black people this, or I hate niggers, and you know, she's a politician. She's been one for the past 45 years. Her and Bill, she knows better to come out and say stuff like that. Donald Trump, he's not a politician. He's just a businessman. He just shoots from the hip, and I appreciate that about him. Even though I think he's a racist, but someone who's a racist, that's not really my concern for who's running the country, because a lot of these presidents have been racist, if you ask me. But they got bigger and better things to do. They got bigger fish to fry and worry about, race relations. They're trying to run the country. Yeah, that's the truth. Like when the president of the United States is, dealing with other leaders of other countries like Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. I'm looking at that. I still think the system is going to explode. It's still going to fall. We're going to crash. It's still going to be a mess no matter who's in office. It's just a matter of how bad is the crash going to be, and how are you going to crash? Are you going to just nosedive, just going like 1,000 miles an hour into a crash? Or are you just going to kind of crash, but you're kind of like trying to reach the water, or kind of glide into the crash? It's still going to be a crash. It's still going to be a mess. It's just, how many people going to survive from this crash? Is it going to be just a few, or is it going to be no one? That's the way I'm looking at it. So people really is, taking this election too serious. It's really not that serious, because if it was, they wouldn't have they wouldn't have robbed and railroaded Bernie Sanders. I actually originally, in the Democratic primary, I voted for Bernie Sanders, and my state of California robbed him. Yes, we robbed Bernie. There's no way in hell Hillary Clinton won California. There's no way she won a lot of those states. But, there was a lot of voter fraud, and just ballots were thrown out. I mean, I don't have any proof of it, but, you something was going on. And then they was just trying to pressure Bernie into just stepping out and not take it all the way to the convention, and he was going to keep up the fight. And they just bullied Bernie. They threatened his wife. I think they roughed him up. If you look at the convention where Hillary supposedly won the convention, won the nomination, just take a look at Bernie Sanders's expression in his face. Just take a look at him. Just go back, go to YouTube, and just type up Democrat convention, and just look at it, study it. Look at what, how, the look on Bernie Sanders' face. He had the look on his face. If you really pay attention, he had the look on his face like, this is some fucking bullshit. This is fucked up. And then if you take a closer look at his face, it looked like he had like a little minor black eye, like he was roughed up, like they did something to him. Really, you look at it yourself. Type up Democrat primaries, Democrat convention. Hillary wins the nomination. Just go and look at that and check it out for yourself, and then you tell me if I'm just reading too much into it. So I don't like Hillary. I'm still not voting for the bitch. So I don't trust her. They robbed Bernie. And I don't think Bernie was really that real either. But he's kind of sort of real, or at least a lot of the people who thought he was real, they thought so. He seemed a little more genuine than Hillary or Trump. And then they railroaded him. So I'm still not voting for Hillary. Donald Trump is a clown, but I support Donald, but this is like not a real election. It's a joke anyway, so fuck it. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later. It's Neck of the Woods. I'm gonna go to sleep.